Hey guys, it's been a while, but welcome back. Today we are going to flip a kitchen table that my in laws gave me, and we are going to gift it to a friend who just recently bought a house. So stay tuned. All right, so as you can see, this table is pure wood. It's a very, very heavy, very durable table. It's quite worn. It's been through decades of my husband growing up at the table. A lot of laughs, a lot of love. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna repurpose it so that it can have essentially a whole other lifetime for all that good stuff. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically using some leftover wood stripper that I had. I don't know if I would buy this wood stripper myself, but it was left over from the previous owners, so I figured why not use what I already have, save some money. It worked decently for this project, so I just went. As you can see, it was really just what was on the bottom, so I used the rest of it, and I'm going to. It was particularly hot that day and sunny, so I'm gonna use Saran wrap just to keep it working so that it doesn't dry up too quickly on me. The good thing about furniture like this is that there's really not a lot of damage I can do to it with the sanding and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. There's gonna be a lot of trial and error in this project, as you will see later on in the video. Um, but the main goal with this piece is we want to try and take that orange out. It's a very classic 90s look with the orange. We're going to try to modernize it a little bit, but still keep that rich wood tone. Um, Naturally, wood over time, it will orange or yellow. So we're gonna do some things to kind of see if we can prevent that from yellowing and oranging too quickly in the future with a paint wash and using a matte sealer. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually already working. I just put the saran wrap on, and you can see all of that getting eaten off of it. So that's really good. I'll probably leave it for a few hours and then I'll come back and it should be easy to scrape off, I'm hoping. So I've scraped off what I could scrape off here. I'm gonna move to sanding. I thought about just clearing it off with some water, but I'm gonna see what happens if I just start sanding it off. Basically what I do is I have an orbital sander here. It's not the most high-end expensive one, but I find it works really well. You just can get it at a general hardware store. And then what I do is I buy a stack of these off Amazon. So the way you want to do this is you want to make it as painless as possible. So what you need in order to sand it faster is a lower grit. A lower grit is going to be more coarse. So that basically means that it's the sandpaper, it's going to be a lot rougher to actually break through the grain and get it smooth quicker. With that, it also comes with bigger scratches naturally. So what you want to do is you want to start with this, start with a low one. So what I have is P60. So I start with a 60 grit. I'm going to go over the whole thing just to get all of the gunk as well as that top layer off. And then once I'm happy with it, I'm going to go in with a higher grit, which is a finer sandpaper, and it's going to kind of just completely smooth it out and not have those big scratches. So this here I have 100. I may finish it with 120, which is even higher at the end, but I'm going to start with these two and see how that goes. You may be wondering when you know it's time to switch out your pad. I'm a cheapo, so I wait until it's completely done. So this is what mine looks like for me to switch it out. So yeah, couple months went by. This is one of those projects that just took forever. A big reason for it was I was not willing to cut corners. I wanted to make sure it was as perfect as I could get it, uh, because it was going to a friend of mine. So it's good because I think it pushed me to really really work on this and to be patient with the process and to actually do a lot of research going into it and before just kind of taking the easy way out for some stuff, thinking that I would be able to do a quick sell on Facebook Marketplace or something. Um, so I'm happy about that, but my goodness, it took forever. A lot of it, I did after work, so I would come home and then I would sand for an hour or so at the end of the day. So it definitely it took a while, basically on a part-time basis, trying to get this table done. And my friend was super patient with me, which was great. They weren't in a huge rush to get the table, so it really allowed me to do what I needed to do to make sure it was the best quality it could be. These chairs I already have painted, but they definitely need a touch up and I'm gonna try to even out the paint job on them, sand them down, and actually put some effort in. And then these ones I found off the side of the road. I'm gonna clean the fabric on them because I actually like the color, and I'm gonna paint them all the same. They're not the same style, but I think if I put these two on one end and these two on the other, I think it'll work. And once they're all the same color, it'll look a lot more cohesive. So I went and I took the fabric off of the chairs. It was actually in really good condition. It didn't look like it was on there for super long. So, and it looked like it was fresh padding. So, no stains or anything. I just gave it a clean with my extractor vac. Um, and I was really happy with how they turned out. I then went in with my favorite fusion paint color, which is Victorian lace, and I painted all the chairs the same color. I am still plugging away at this. Stripping furniture is not for the faint of heart, let me tell you. But we're getting there. There's only a few black marks left. So I think after the next hour or so, it should be finally stripped. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a higher grit sand and just do one final layer just to smooth everything out. So this table is pretty much almost completely stripped. It took forever to get the brown dark stains out of it. I ended up doing a lot of research. It turns out there is a thing that actually gets rid of those dark stains for you so that you don't have to do what I just did for the last month or so, which is sand it so bad that you start getting divots all over the place. So now it looks good, but it has a lot of kind of divots and uneven patches in the wood. So in order to kind of mitigate that, I did a little bit more research, and now I'm going to try and get the table a little bit more even. So what I have is a wet towel, and then I have an iron. So I'm just gonna rub my hand against the table. See, you can already see that I kind of did it here to test it, and it does in fact work. It definitely feels like I'm gonna have to sand it again, which is fine, just to get it a little bit more even. But I'm basically just gonna run my hand along, see if I can find any more of those spots that I kind of went a little bit too hard with the sander, so that I can do this trick. What happens is the heat, it actually expands the wood, pushes it up so that it makes it an even surface. This is really good also if you have like large gouges or like dents in the wood. So I'm just gonna leave that on there for 20 or 30 seconds, and that should give it enough time to raise the wood up so that it's all nice and even surface. There's just a few more spots I'm going to do, and then I'm going to test out this wood bleach. For the wood bleach, it wasn't super easy to find at the hardware store. You may see it called oxalic acid, and it may come in a powder form that you have to mix with water. Just make sure you wear gloves and stuff when you use it. And then, as you can see, I'm using my power washer to just get all the residue off it after I left it on for 20 minutes or so. It's not going to hurt the wood. It's a nice dry day, so it's going to dry quickly for me. And it's a lot less time consuming. So that's why I did it that way. So finally, I have the wood where I need it, and I get to do the fun part, which is the stain. I'm not going to go in with a normal stain. I'm going to do a paint wash. So I'm going to take another fusion color called Algonquin, which is it's a tan with a gray undertone, and I'm going to mix it with like 4 or 5 parts water. I want this paint mixture to be super, super watery, so that it really doesn't look like paint at all, and it's just like a nice neutral stain that's going to kind of keep that orange away because of that gray undertone that it has in it. Last thing I'm going to do is put a water-based sealer on there in a satin finish, and that will just make sure the table is nice and durable. And there you have it. That is the finished table. Here's some before and afters. I hope you like it, and I'll see you next time.